Hey everyone, do you like our birthday bunting? Not for children, for cats, which is a slippery slope, I think, once you start having cats' birthday parties. But anyway, today we're looking at suffering as a symptom. So not as a thing in its own right, but as an indication of something. And it's come about because I've been looking at um, the link between genius, extraordinary creativity or immense intellect, immense sensitivity or acuity or analytical ability and suffering, and all the reasons why such powerful mental activity correlates in so many people so often with acute mental suffering. And the reason is because it's the mind that creates suffering. And so the more powerful the mind, often the more intense the suffering. And the thing that we can consider is that so many of our treatments, our ways of dealing with mental suffering is to like kick the legs out from underneath the mind, like to numb it and constrain it and clip its wings and distract it and like effectively put blankets of dulling drugs, dulling substances to make it less powerful, so it therefore creates less suffering. But if we consider an equivalent of having our hand in the fire and the suffering that is created from the hand being in the fire, and we're trying to get rid of that suffering by taking painkillers, meditating, doing some yoga, injecting drugs, going internet browsing, all the while the hand is in the fire. And so all that we're doing is numbing, distracting, intervening into the body so that all its normal processes, the suffering is a fantastic device, really, to say the hand is in the fire. The pain is saying, pull the hand out of the fire. But because the actual cause of the pain isn't being addressed, we're doing everything we can to, to numb the pain and to distract the mind from it. And it's the same when we look at mental suffering. It's because we don't understand the role of the mind. We don't understand what the mind is. We don't understand what the mind creates, what it's there for. We're completely lost in what the mind is creating, rather than being there as the intelligent awareness that we really are, the intelligent presence, to see what the mind is creating, to notice it, to notice where it goes, to notice these incredible five-dimensional films that it creates, and the leaps that it takes into other people's heads, into other countries, into past and future. When we don't understand what the mind is, everything that the mind creates looks real, and particularly the self. Because the self idea, the identity, is only mind created. It only exists as a collection of beliefs. And when that, which is really the core of the mental creation, That's the starting point, with that avatar of self going off into future, past, different situations, different people's lives. We're everywhere. We're involved in everything, and it all looks so real. And when it looks so real, and when these creations of the mind revolve around the insecurity of the self, of the things that could happen to affect that identity, to make it feel unworthy or unloved or a failure or isolated, ostracized. When that's happening, the suffering is tremendous. But instead of taking the hand out of the fire, instead of taking the attention, the energy, the effort, the involvement, the being out of the story, out of the mental creation, instead of doing that, we're staying in there, firmly ensconced in this thought, belief created reality, and we're trying to numb the pain of it. We're trying to numb the suffering. We take medication, we take alcohol, drugs, we do everything we can to try and numb that suffering, when it's just going to continue. And all that numbing, all it's doing is really clipping the wings of this soaring superpower. Really, it's dumbing it down, making it less potent, making it less agile, like restricting it so that we suffer less. But that's to deeply misunderstand what the mind really is. And as it's realized that all this suffering, all this resentment, all this fear of the future and depression of the past, and this self-blame and this self-protection and this constant seeking for a sense of security, a sense of being, when it's realized that that is all an activity of mind, and that underneath that activity there's just everything that was ever looked for is right here now. When that's realized, we don't have to do anything. We don't have to numb the mind. My God, why would we? Why would we do that? We don't have to numb the suffering. We don't have to make anything less potent and powerful and agile and exceptional, original, creative. No, that can have its full freedom, its full flight, because there's an understanding that what it creates is a creation. Every concept, all language, anything that's not now, immediately now, is a creation of mind. And when that's understood, then we're really like, there's a Formula One car and it's used to its full speed, its full capacity, instead of trying to turn it into a tricycle so that we can manage it and suffer less with it. It's massive, this. It's massive and so exciting. Yeah, we've got it so wrong in trying to numb the suffering or limit the mind. Set the mind free, understand what suffering really is, understand what the mind and its creations really are. And then there's only this, and this is everything we've ever looked for. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Big love. Bye.